A World Cup night in Boston suddenly turned into a heart-stopping moment, and it had nothing to do with a tackle, a goal, or a referee decision. During France's group stage clash with Norway at Gillette Stadium, ITV commentator Jon Champion was left stunned live on air after a helicopter flew dangerously close over the stadium. For a moment, the action on the pitch almost disappeared. The crowd was watching France and Norway battle under the lights. The game was already exploding with goals. But then, above the 64,000-seater stadium, something unusual cut through the atmosphere. A private helicopter was descending nearby, and according to Champion, it came perilously close to the stands. This was supposed to be another dramatic World Cup match. Instead, it briefly became a bizarre and frightening scene that left even an experienced commentator speechless. France were facing Norway at Gillette Stadium near Boston, Massachusetts, in their final match of the group stage. The venue, normally home to the NFL's New England Patriots, had been transformed for World Cup action. Fans had packed in expecting goals, drama, and elite football. And they got all of that, but they also got a shock from the sky. As the match unfolded, a Leonardo AW-139 helicopter was seen descending above the stadium, apparently preparing to land next to the venue. From the press seats, ITV's Jon Champion noticed the aircraft passing over the pitch and near the stands. The moment clearly distracted him during commentary. For a few seconds, Champion appeared to lose his train of thought. Then, once he regained focus, he explained to viewers what had happened. He said, "Sorry if I was distracted there. A helicopter has gone flying right over the pitch and came perilously close to hitting the stands." That one line told the whole story. This was not just a helicopter flying somewhere in the distance. From Champion's view, it looked close enough to cause real alarm. Moments later, he added, "It appears to be landing just next to the stadium." At this stage, it is not known who the helicopter belonged to or who was on board. But one thing is clear. It turned heads inside the stadium and briefly stole attention from the match itself. And that is saying something, because the game on the pitch was already full of chaos. France and Norway produced 4 goals inside the opening, 35 minutes alone. Ousmane Dembele was the headline act. The France star delivered a sensational first-half hat-trick, scoring 3 times inside the opening 33 minutes. Each finish followed a similar pattern. Dembele cut inside and smashed the ball toward the far post. It was ruthless, it was clinical, and it put France in control. But Norway were not simply standing back and watching. Thelo Asgard, the Rangers and former Luton Town player, produced a stunning moment of his own. With France already threatening to run away with the match, Asgard gave Norway life. He used a clever feint to send Dio Upamecano the wrong way, then dragged his shot into the near post. At that point, the score became 2-1, and for a brief spell, Norway had hope. The match had everything: speed, goals, sharp finishing, and a sudden sense that an upset might still be possible. But France had too much quality. The strangest part of the night is that the helicopter scare happened during a match that was already moving at breathtaking speed. Imagine the scene. Dembele is tearing Norway apart. Goals are flying in. The crowd is trying to keep up with the drama on the pitch. Then, suddenly, attention shifts upward. A helicopter passes over the stadium. It descends near the venue. The commentator stops. The broadcast pauses in confusion, and for one brief moment, football is no longer the biggest story inside Gillette Stadium. Jon Champion's reaction captured the tension perfectly. He was not trying to create drama, he was simply describing what he saw, and what he saw was enough to leave him speechless. That is what made the moment so surreal. World Cup matches are built around pressure, noise, and emotion. But this was different. It was unexpected, strange, and alarming. And then, just as quickly as the scare arrived, the focus returned to the pitch. France still had a job to finish. Norway's hopes of a comeback, sparked by Asgard's brilliant goal, were eventually crushed. Désir Doe, Dembele's Paris Saint-Germain teammate, headed home from close range to seal the result and wrap up a perfect group stage campaign for France. After the early scare, the strange flyover, and Norway's brief response, France ended the night in control. Dembele's hat-trick was the football story. The helicopter was the shock moment, and together, they created one of the most bizarre scenes of the World Cup so far. In the end, France walked away with a perfect group stage. Ousmane Dembele delivered a masterclass. Désir Doe finished the job. Norway had their moment through Thelo Asgard, but it was not enough. Yet for many watching on ITV, the image that may stay in the mind is not only Dembele cutting inside and firing into the far corner. It is Jon Champion suddenly stopping mid-commentary. It is the helicopter dropping near the stadium. It is that chilling phrase, perilously close to hitting the stands. Football gave fans the goals. The sky gave them the scare. And on a dramatic World Cup night in Boston, France's win was almost overshadowed by a moment nobody inside Gillette Stadium expected.